I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you, so don't be afraid to let them show your true colors, your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Or something like that. You know, this look really isn't doing it for me anymore. Matter of fact, I think it's a bit disgusting. You guys smell that? Or is it just me? Ugh. Whatever the case, I think it's time for a makeover. One sec. Ah, that's much better. I gotta say, I look fantastic. Nothing says recharging my YouTube channel quite like an avatar spruce up. Many thanks to the artist Witchy Toby for making this. They should still be open for commissions as we speak, so feel free to hit them up if you're interested. I know I'll be commissioning them again, that's for sure. Now then, on with the show. I've only ever talked about Amphibia on this channel in passing, which is a downright crime in the eyes of some of you, and understandably so because it's a damn good show. Inspired by his childhood trips to his family's home of Thailand, creator Matt Brawley's pet project is the potpourri of whimsy, strange, colorful, and captivating that is as Disney as you can get. It's the classic fish out of water tale, or rather frog out of water, that's as old as time, yet made unique by the touches that Brawley cribs from his own personal experiences and sprinkles in every corner. Yes, I've harped on about the advantages of creating something based off of what you know firsthand, but it absolutely goes a long way in building a rapport with your audience, so it bears repeating. Just thought I'd mention that for those of you who wish to enter any kind of artistic profession. Moving on to Amphibia proper, the chronicles of Anne Bunchoy and her surrogate reptilian family, Sprig, Polly, and Hopadiah Planter, have been an equally exciting and emotional journey that set their strong bond in stone, especially between Anne and Sprig in Season 1, and put that bond through the ringer in Season 2 due in no small part to the growing continuity. A continuity that has reached a crescendo, known as True Colors. If you've put up with that pesky fuck-up by Disney, you have my admiration. For me, it just gives me one more reason to hate the company. In case you're unaware, for an entire month, the Amphibia crew have been hyping up the episode all across social media, namely Twitter. They've been talking about the production of the episode, posting promotional material for the episode, interacting with fans in the lead up to the episode, all that good stuff. But while those guys were building up the season finale, what did Disney do? Being Disney. The scheduling conflict is whatever. It happens in television. It's another one of those things that's out of a person's hands. I can accept that. What I won't accept is leaking the fucking episode on iTunes. Not before it was hastily taken off the platform, but still, very bad form. And it's led to Matt Brawley and co. understandably begging people to watch the episode on its official premiere. You gotta wonder what the meeting between him and the Disney execs were like. I think it went something like this.
Hey, Matt. You know that thing you put your heart and soul into since 2018 and everyone all across the world seems to love?
Yes, I'm very proud of it. Why do you ask?
Well, you don't mind if we put a bullet in its brain, do you?
Nani?
I think that means yes. Okay then, thanks babes. Keep up the good work, semicolon closed parenthesis.
That's not what that means.
Don't worry, everything is under control. Now if you'll excuse me, I must go and purchase Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft and spread my influence even more. Ha 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 ha.
Next time, I'm going to Netflix. Hello there.
I guess that's how all the pitch meetings at Disney go. Capitalist rat dogs! To this day, I have not understood why Disney did this. Maybe they were scared of any sensitive content that the episode had? No, that wouldn't make sense since they've allowed their showrunners that kind of expressive liberty in the first place. Maybe it's to scare the crew from ordering another season for production, so that they don't get a pay rise for working on a show that runs for 3 or more seasons. I don't get it. Or maybe I'm just a conspiracy nut. All I know is, dick move, Disney. But now I'm gonna get into the episode itself. Spoiler warning. It starts with a flashback to Anne's birthday, where Marcy is reading up on books in the library, as is typical with her. She happens upon a book with an odd-looking image in it, but she passes it off as being a load of nonsense. As she's about to leave to join up with her friends, she gets a text message from her father telling her to come home to discuss something.
Marcy, you have to understand.
No! You guys are ruining my life! Marcy, wait!
Get back here, young lady.
You know, I kind of feel for Marcy. Even though, as we're about to find out, that she is quite far from being a saint, she's still worth even just a smidge of sympathy. And I'll explain why I feel for Marcy later. We then cut to the gang's arrival to Newtopia, with the Calamity Box and all 3 of its reinvigorated jewels intact. Throughout the episode, there's a running gag of Polly having posterior issues, let's say.
I've got some ointment that'll fix that right up.
No! It stinks!
I bet it smells really bad too. Hang in there, Polly. The gang head for the Newtopian Palace, where they deliver the music box to King Andreas. Just when everything's going so well, Sasha and Captain Grimes enact their gambit, a full-scale invasion of Newtopia, and a coup d'etat of its monarchy, and Sasha and Anne come to blows about this.
Sorry things got a little crazy back there. You guys good?
Good? Are you serious?
Sheesh, don't be a sore loser. Look, I'm gonna stay here and get this toad regime off the ground, but I can totally send you 2 home if you want. Or you can stick around and give me a hand. So what do you say?
I just want to tangentially bring up the implication of the 3 girls' friendship, as in Caucasian Sasha Waybright throwing her weight on Thai American Anne and Chinese American Marcy. Anyone else notice that? Or is it just me? It can't be just me, can it? I'm pretty certain that Matt Brawley intended that. He did say that he wanted to encourage more Thai representation in animation, so I guess he meant to include the ups and downs that Asian Americans have seen in the past few years. Whether or not it's intentional, whether or not race is meant to be a part of the conversation, as an Asian immigrant myself, I can't look past that anymore. So the cracks that Anne thought were patched up between her and Sasha open up again. And Sasha's rationale is that she set aside a place for Anne and Marcy in her NAO, her new amphibian order. Anne, being as noble as she is having none of that bullshit, and she, the planters, Marcy and Andreas, are apprehended for it. While being whisked away by the Toad forces, they fight back and stage a rebellion for one final confrontation against Sasha and Grimes. The first and foremost thing they need to do is to close the main gate to Newtopia to prevent even more Toad soldiers from entering. Meanwhile, Sasha and Grimes talk among themselves about what the former really wants. Is it companionship or conquest? You know, typical teenage angst. You just can't decide whether you want some BFFs to have sleepovers with, or you want to rule an entire country with an iron fist. It's a real dilemma amongst 13 to 19-year-olds. Look it up. All kidding aside, for all the swagger that Sasha affects, she hasn't abandoned her humanity. And this conversation is a nice follow-up to the ending of the Season 1 finale reunion, where she willingly sacrificed herself to save Anne from certain death. It appears that her controlling nature is a coping mechanism to ensure that she doesn't lose those precious to her, even if her methods are morally compromised.
What if Anne's right? What if I am a horrible person?
Who cares what she thinks? You and I are in charge now, and we get to do whatever we want.
That's the thing. I'm not sure what I want anymore.
Huh.
So yeah, in spite of my joking just now, it really is teenage angst. But the self-reflection is nothing compared to what Sasha and Grimes discover next.
Yikes. This thing's gotta go.
Whoa, is that the king with the music box?
If it is, it's a really good thing we stopped him.
Well, isn't that a lovely picture for all the little tadpoles to see? Enjoy the night terrors, kiddies. The fight is on, and the gang thwart the Toads, rescue King Andreas, and after a heated duel between Anne and Sasha, close the gate to Newtopia.
End of the line, Sash.
Back at the palace, Andreas rewards the gang's bravery by giving them an explanation of his kingdom's past, the true nature of the Calamity Box, and a demonstration of its power.
There was a time when Newtopia was truly great, but that greatness was stolen from us. Centuries of prosperity brought to an end because of me. I was weak, trusting those who said they were my friends.
Oh, so Amphibia is one of those ancient civilizations that was far too advanced for its own time. Right, gotcha. And wouldn't you know it, Andreas is a maniacal despot hell-bent on interdimensional conquest. To further drive home the point that the guy is off his rocker, he does this.
I can see a demonstration of my power is in order. Behold!
Nope. You read my mind, buddy. And if that's not proof enough that he's an absolute asshole, he drives a wedge between the three girls as only an asshole like him knows how. You know how I said that Marcy is far from being a saint? Here's why.
My dad got a new job out of state. They're making me move away. They were gonna tear us apart. Marcy, I found the box. I had no idea that it would actually work, but it did. And it sent us to a place where we'd never have to grow apart, where the three of us could be friends forever together.
And as I said earlier in the video, her circumstances still warrant our sympathy towards her. Well, she definitely gets mine, and especially mine. What with me having moved home several times during my teenage years and, as a result, never really forming long-lasting and meaningful memories during those years. At least not as many as I'd like to. It's why I constantly disavow having attended high school and making acquaintances there. Not friends, acquaintances. And hey, some people are just better at coping with that sort of turning point than others are. And I'm not ashamed to say that I'm not one of them. Why do you think I'm as jaded as I am today? Before anyone asks, no, it's not my family's move from the Philippines to Australia that left me the mess I am today. That begs the question. I wonder how my life would have turned out if I also stumbled on an ancient magical artifact that transported me to a world apart from this one. Would it have been just as exciting as it is in the show? Who knows? Alright, I'm gonna stop now before it gets too depressing and personal, but there you go. Despite the initial horror from both Anne and Sasha towards the revelation, the entire gang takes one last stand against Andreas to put an end to his madness. And yes, Marcy joins the fray. The battle looks to tip in the gang's favor, but Andreas is having none of it. Before he can deliver the coup de grace, Frobo makes one final rescue, a sacrifice that devastates Polly. And the running gag, which has only appeared twice in this episode, come to think of it, pays off.
What the?
Over here, you big bozo! Guess who just got her leg? Oh!
My little baby's got legs!
This is weird!
Saw it coming, even without being spoiled and relying only on promotional material. We all saw it coming. With her newly grown legs, Polly pulls the box from the pedestal, disabling the floating fortress. Not that any of the characters ever mention it, but with that box disconnected, wouldn't they be falling to the ground right about now? Speaking of the box and falling, Andreas gives the gang an ultimatum. Return the box to the pedestal, or Sprig dies.
Frobo.
Okay, dude, you have what you want. Now please, just put him down. He's my best friend. In this world, or any other world.
Anne? Sasha and Marcy are in the same room as you. But given what you've been through with them, I don't blame you. But despite them doing as he demanded, the Mad King tosses Sprig out the window anyway, one-upping Scar from the Lion King as a Disney character who committed attempted murder by doing so while already being royalty. Long live the king indeed. The dastardly act devastates everyone, Anne especially. In her grief-ridden rage, she unknowingly draws upon the power of the blue Calamity Gem, which symbolizes heart, and what results is this.
What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe it's a human thing.
This is not a human thing.
Give him back. Give him?
Yeah, if you thought that heart is a shitty power thanks to Mati from Captain Planet, this should give you a second opinion. As it turns out, harnessing a power like that means the animators will be very nice to you. Look at how beautiful everything here is. The blue glow in Anne's eyes, the twigs and leaves in her hair seemingly coming to life and growing, the Super Saiyan battle aura, the fluid motion of every object shown on screen. Oh, so gorgeous. What better way to reflect Anne's maturity since arriving in Amphibia? If I may though, I do think that this development slightly comes out of left field. Now yes, we did learn of the nature of the gems and what qualities they represented over the course of the season, but we were never clued in on the gems being transcendent and sentient. All this time, they only ever came off as mere artifacts. Batteries for a seemingly more important tool in the Calamity Box itself. Is it a pleasant surprise? Yes. Should we have been clued in a little better? Yes. give us a little bit more. Not too much, not too little. Just enough foreshadowing that we have more info to play around with, while spontaneity still remains. Imbued with the gem's strength, Anne lays waste to Andreas and his robot forces before finally passing out from the strain of wielding such unbridled power. Meanwhile, Marcy and her avian companion Joe Sparrow rescue Sprig in the nick of time. Both he and Anne come together in a relieved and tearful embrace. But all is not yet over, as Andreas, in disbelief over Anne's attunement with one of the gems, puts up one more fight, this time intent on killing the poor child. Before he can do that, Marcy swipes the Calamity Box to try and open a gateway for Anne and the Planters to escape through. Sasha and Grimes fend off Andreas, allowing them safe passage. As they're about to get away, this happens.
I just need to...
Now look what you've made me do.
I'm sorry for everything.
Marcy!
TVY7, folks. TVY7. I guess after Gravity Falls, ratings mean jack shit to DTA showrunners. Definitely worth it if it means more significant, meaningful moments like this that punch you in the gut and stab you in the heart. Shit. That came out wrong. Sorry, Marcy. Please don't die. I still like you. On the other side of the portal, Anne and the Planters awaken in the last place they'd ever expect to find themselves in. Downtown LA.
What the... Oh my frog.
What is this place?
Home.
Well, holy goddamn. The crew sure went all out on this one, didn't they? No wonder they've been building it up and building it up and building it up. Talk about ambitious. Speaking of ambitious, I bet they have all sorts of crazy things cooking in the oven for the 3rd season. I'm aching with anticipation to see what's gonna What? Wait. One hot second. Why? Why do this? Why now? Why not later? Couldn't you let your audience cool down a bit? I know you should try to strike while the iron is hot, but this is not one of those cases. Jeez. So that was True Colors, the 2nd season finale of Amphibia. Did it live up to the hype? Why, yes. Yes, it did. Is it flawed? Yes. Yes, it is. Disney animated shows are no strangers to grand-scale undertakings. Of the 3 main family networks, I'd have to say that the Disney Channel is the most consistent with lengthy specials that have massive developments in them. Weirdmageddon, The Battle for Muni, The Last Adventure, just in this era of animation alone. True Colors ups the ante in its narrative, characters, and animation to heights that Amphibia hadn't yet seen before. We saw a glimpse of this ambition back in Reunion, but it comes into full bloom here. For the most part, that ambition is realized thanks to moment after poignant moment that shake up the show's paradigm, and by the end, completely change it. The maturity that Anne had undergone after her adventures with Sprig, Polly, and Hop-Hop, Sasha's desire for control conflicting with her care for Anne and Marcy, Marcy's inner demons, and Andreas' megalomania, it's all satisfying to experience. But if that sounds like a lot to take in over a relatively short amount of time, that's because it is. It's another unfortunate case of a grandiose episode that would have worked better with a longer runtime, alongside another famous example in Magical Mystery Cure from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. With too many intriguing plot points all worthy of the spotlight, yet desperately vying against each other. The Toad invasion of Newtopia, the rift between the 3 girls, the knowledge that Marcy gained about the Calamity Box, even Polly growing her legs. Those are all worth way more than just one measly fleeting minute. Okay, I'm exaggerating, and budgetary constraints are always a factor. Disney can't just give Matt Brawley all the money in the world, as appealing and possible as it sounds to his audience, but my point should still have some weight to it. In case you don't know this about me, I really hate the word rushed because of its overuse and misuse. Yes, it implies that something was hastily pushed to its conclusion, but in my book, that would also imply that any kind of development actually took place. So it should mean something. When I say that, to a degree, True Colors felt that way. Yes, True Colors had a rushed feeling to it. Just as an example, If it were a two-parter, or heck just longer, a larger chunk of time could be dedicated to the Toad invasion alone, and with tiny little nuggets about the other plot points, like Polly's legs and Marcy's deception, sprinkled throughout. We may have had Barrel's Warhammer to foreshadow the invasion, but this plot point still needed to be dignified within True Colors itself. And I'll even go so far as to say that the existence of Barrel's Warhammer is all the more reason for a plot point like this to be fully fleshed out. Imagine an artist putting together a really cool WIP. It gets you excited for the final product, and when the time comes, it ends up still looking great, but the colors are flat when they could have been shaded. Really goes to show what a difference an extra 20 minutes can make. But the runtime doesn't utterly cripple it to the point where it becomes an irreparable shambles. No, like I said, it's a damn good finale. It does what any season finale should do, tie up the season together in a cohesive way, while setting the groundwork for the subsequent season. True Colors is excitement and emotions galore. And what media company does those two things the best? Disney, of course. It knows how to make you get up from your seats in rapturous applause and reduce you to a sobbing wreck. When Anne powers up for the first time, it's a thrill. When Marcy gets impaled by Andreas, without visible blood might I add, you feel utter despair. The best part is that these moments are earned. Sounds contradictory to my point about the slightly rushed nature of the episode, but they do feel earned, thanks to the chemistry among the main cast, the build-up from prior episodes, and a more than worthy bad guy in King Andreas. And ultimately, when everything is said and done, that's what matters, if you've earned the audience reaction you were expecting. And for tying up everything the season had to offer, True Colors earns it. So with that bittersweet climax that admittedly is more bitter than it is sweet, there's no telling what Season 3 is gonna bring. I mean, Anne and the Planters are on Earth, God knows what happened to Sasha and Grimes, Marcy's dead, maybe, maybe not. The anticipation is killing me. Or it was, until it didn't. Now let's talk about showing the Season 3 intro immediately after True Colors ended. Call me old-fashioned to the point of senility and being hung like a stallion, but I think there is such a thing as audience burnout. As in, after a heavy-handed and substantial episode of a television show, they're so encumbered by what they saw that they'll be processing all that information for hours, days, weeks, or even months to come. So with that said, I think it stands to reason that the crew should have held off on showing that intro and spoiling the third and possibly final season of the show so far ahead of time. Just look at this intro and how much info these short 50 seconds give. The Bunchoys and the Planters coexisting nicely. A secret government agency that's surely taken an interest in the whole interdimensional travel business. Marcy being alive. Again, I'm exaggerating since, well, this is a Disney show and Disney believes in death just as much as a Buddhist believes in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but come on! Don't actually show that she survives, let your audience simmer down and wait for a more opportune moment to present this intro. Preferably when the audience is fully recovered and, I don't know, the actual season's about to start. Remember the season 6 finale of The Walking Dead? You know, when Negan randomly executes one of the survivors and the episode ends from the dying victim's bloody and gradually fading point of view. This is the opposite of that. A weird comparison to make since that episode was its own flavor of manipulative, cynical bullshit, but it's the best comparison. While one show framed a season finale to create artificial hype among its viewers, the other show tried to start a hype train way too early and gave away crucial bits and pieces that the fans would have had fun speculating among themselves. All I can hope for is that Amphibia doesn't become a boring slog like The Walking Dead is. Heyo! After all of that, how does True Colors from Amphibia stack up? Well, I think a 4.5 out of 5 stacks up nicely, don't you? Just the twists and turns at every which way, and the overall satisfying feeling of the episode make this one of the best in the show. And the breathtaking moments are enhanced by the vastly improved animation. It's just the kind of shakeup that the show needs to elevate itself from great to phenomenal. Credit to Matt Brawley for sticking to his guns, the same way his loyal fanbase did in waiting for the official air date. It was worth suffering a typical corporate mishap from Disney. Though ideally, we don't want to see any more such mishaps in the future, but hell, it's Disney. I wouldn't put it past them. Until the next video, I'm the one and only CR Martin, and I'll see you guys later. Ciao for now.